And welcome back, everybody, to another live video here at On Meta Coach. We're not doing a hangout. We can hang out then. And we're not doing a live reaction, man. We are talking about NFL free agency, man. Day one, a wild 12 hours, maybe at this point. Holy freaking cow, man. A lot of players released, a lot of players traded, a lot of players signed and re signed. And even before today, man, we had a mega blockbuster trade. We will get to that one. Don't worry about it. But holy freaking cow, man. I'm not really sure where to start, but we'll kind of go through here. I'm going to take a couple minutes or so to make sure everybody gets through. You're loco. What's going on? DJ Moore, DJ Moore, DJ Moore. Oh my God. I know, man. I'm not going to lie. I feel I'm not a huge guy with wide receivers. The Bills might have overpaid in terms of the second round pick, but immediately DJ Moore becomes the number one receiver, man. And with Josh Allen's arm, it's going to be pretty hard to overthrow a guy like DJ Moore with that kind of speed, man. I mean, look at what happened with Caleb there in the wild card round against the Green Bay Packers. A deep shot down the field hits him in stride. DJ Moore gets into the end zone, man. That speed, that ability to get downfield and stretch the defense, that's coming to Buffalo, baby. So, heck yeah, man. You're local. How you doing, my brother? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was not planning on doing something on Monday. I thought, to be honest with you, I thought free agency was going to be maybe a little bit slower. I thought maybe I was like, oh, maybe I can push it to Wednesday or do a Tuesday, but no. These NFL teams were like, no. We're gonna hit the ground running, dude. So holy freaking cow, man. But yeah, DJ Moore traded from Chicago to the Buffalo Bills. The Bills get DJ Moore in a fifth round draft pick, while the Bears get a second round draft pick. So I don't know, man. I feel like both teams got what they should have for the most part. Like I said, I think the Bills could have maybe tried to fight for giving up only a third, but you know what, dude? When you need weapons and you need to make sure that Josh Allen is happy and that offense stays on track with some explosive plays, this is what you do. So now I'm doing amazing, bro. We finally have a receiver. Let's go. Yeah, man. Like I said, I can't really think of anybody else right now on that Bills defense that doesn't immediately become that DJ Moore isn't the number one guy. Like Shakir, slot receiver, really good. Still one of the, I would say, top three options that Josh has there. Obviously, the tight ends are always going to be involved in that Buffalo offense, man. But DJ Moore is a different type of animal, man. I'm still not 100% sold if whether he can reach the consistency that he had in Carolina. But I mean, if there's any player or any quarterback that can unlock DJ Moore's potential, it's going to be Josh Allen. So, David, what's going on? Free agency is for people who are too cheap to use a paid agency, and that's just sad. So that's in the chat for the cheapskates looking at you, Jets. I'm not gonna lie though, the Jets, I feel like they hit the linebacker position a little too hard. But you know what, man? I think the Jets are doing everything they possibly can to make sure that that defense, at least, is competent, which is maybe not a bad thing because had a single turnover, man, a single turnover. That is horrendous. Like all of us watching right now, sitting on our couches or doing stuff, we only had one less turnover than the entire New York Jets did last year, man. That's it. That's insane. Goodbye, Taron Johnson. Sucks he went to the Raiders. Yep. Miss him on Buffalo, man. Taron Johnson, man. Really solid corner, right? Corner. I'm trying to think of double checking in my head. Blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, dude. So much to talk about, man. So much to freaking talk about. Um, so I will, once again, we're just going to be talking. Please do not hesitate to talk in the chat. Let me know. Let me know. Chris Lasso, active Monday. Yes, 100%, my man. Also, congratulations on your new quarterback, man. Congrats. But David Stegosaurus, Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, man. Let's go, baby. Might have gotten a decent running back there, man. You do have to deal with some injuries and some inconsistent play with Kenneth, man. But when he is on, woo, The man is on. Max Crosby is free, and that is a perfect segue to talk about the man of the weekend. To be honest with you, yes, Max Crosby is no longer a Las Vegas Raider. He is now over in Baltimore, man. The Baltimore Ravens giving up a small king's ransom for one of the best defensive linemen, honestly, one of the best defensive players in the NFL, giving up 2 first-round draft picks, basically what the Packers gave up from Micah Parsons. Yeah, man. Crosby is, this has been a long saga, man. Basically going on for 2 years. He's always said that he wants to stay a Raider, but he either wants to be paid or he wants to at least compete for a championship. And it looks like the Raiders were unwilling to do at least one of those. And, yeah, man, the Raiders finally said, all right, man, we're going to get Fernando, we're going to get Mendoza, and let's build around this kid. Let's get a couple high draft picks, and let's go. My Dolphins are free from the shackles of Tua. We are becoming the Green Bay Dolphins. It seems like a lot of teams are becoming the Green Bay something. We'll talk about the Cowboys here in a little bit as well. Dave, I was just making a play on words with free agency, and you tried to make it legit. Respect. You know, I do what I can. You know, I saw you doing a little bit of a lob. I thought I had to smack it down, but my bad. The Miami Packers. I love it. You take our defensive coordinator, make him your head coach. You take our backup quarterback, make him your, I don't want to say franchise quarterback. He's only getting $22 million a year, but potentially your starting quarterback for the next year or two. And honestly, I like them both, man. I like Hafley as a head coach. I think he deserved a chance. And then same thing with Willis, man. I think he's earned the opportunity to be a starter in the NFL, man. After 2 really solid years as a backup, anytime he played, man, he was good, really freaking good. So yeah. David also RB and Casey is weird. What do we do with them? Are they running back punts? I mean, maybe, man. Maybe you put them anywhere. At this point, this is the way I look at it, man. You sign a guy for a bunch of money. Why stick him with just one position? Be like, hey, man, you want to try out corner? Go in there. Come on. Get out there. Burrow is going to get hurt bad. He has to play with TJ Myles Garrett and Max Crosby a total of 6 times this coming season. Poor Joe. 100%, man. Like, if I'm the Bengals, man, you got to hit either free agency, if not the draft as well. Both of those hard with the offensive talent. Bring in anybody that you can. Jawan Taylor gets a lot of penalties, but he's a decent tackle, man. He's a really solid tackle. Won a couple of Super Bowls with the Chiefs. He was a starter for many years over there in Kansas City. So to me, I look at Jawan Taylor. You could probably get him cheap on a 1 to 2 year deal. Mekhi Becton, which I know he didn't have a great year with the Chargers, but if you maybe put him in the right system, surrounded with some talent, similar to what he was in Philadelphia, you can probably get a decent year out of him. And then once again, hit the draft, man. So, yeah. Did you expect K9 to the Chiefs? I did not, man. 100% did not. That was a like I said, man, there's been some wild signings, man. Like Jalen Phillips, did not expect him to go to Carolina. Jalen Phillips, 4 years, $120 million. Haven't really seen what the guarantee is or how much is it guaranteed at signing, but we'll probably get that information pretty soon. But yeah, man, that's another player right there. They have a horrendously bad offensive line. It is a well-known fact. They have to fix it now, 100%. I mean, they've needed to fix it even when they went to the Super Bowl, man. Burrow was the most sacked quarterback in a single playoffs before the Patriots broke that record this past postseason. So yeah, man, it's been going on for years, man. And even his rookie year, the reason he got hurt, he tore his knee up, was when he was getting sacked. So it's just like, yeah, well, is it Joe kind of getting a little bit injury prone? Sure, but at the same time, the Bengals have not helped him at all. So Yeah. I'm trying to think here. Let's see here. Where we at? Where we at? The Chiefs. Let's see here. So, Travis Kelsey back with the Chiefs, a 1 year, $12 million deal. It can go up to $15 million a year, but I was not surprised about that. I think if Travis was going to be playing one more season, it was always going to be in Kansas City, so not too bad. Crisis Tonga, the defensive lineman for the Patriots, signed a 3 year, $21 million contract with the Chiefs as well. 14 of that is guaranteed, so a decent amount. So yeah, let's go. Mike Evans to the 49ers, signing a 3 year contract, finally leaving the Buccaneers, which is a little bit sad. I think he was one of the few guys that I would not have been surprised if he finished his career in Tampa. It seemed like that kind of thing, but I think isn't Mike Evans from the West Coast, or at least he grew up maybe a 49ers fan. I think there's something with that, but yeah, man, he's going to San Francisco, which is I think it's a pretty decent fit, man. They need receivers there. They need a big body guy, and yeah, pretty good. Your local, wait, what? Evans in San Francisco now? Didn't know that. Yeah, I think it just came like 3 hours ago. There was like talks. There was nothing truly official, but from the looks of it, it looks like yeah, Mike Evans is finally leaving Tampa Bay after I think what, like 11 or 12 years there, man. So yeah, man. The Bengals ownership is as smart as the navigation system on paper plane. Dang, dude, those paper planes, man, they're getting advanced. They have bad GPS. Woo. Those paper planes probably used AI for their GPS. Terrible, terrible. Let me see here. The Colts were freaking busy, man. So they traded Michael Pittman to the Steelers for a late round pick. Or I think they just swapped late round picks. I think it was mostly just to get Pittman's contract off the books. I think they're saving. I think it was like around 16, maybe 20 million around there, give or take. And then they re-signed Alec Pierce to a 4 year, $116 million contract. Man, that is a massive, massive contract for Alec Pierce. Boo, Evans should have stayed Tampa Bay, although it would be fun to see if Purdy's good with that system. Very true. Yeah, I'm kind of happy for Mike, man. I feel like he's been loyal to Tampa Bay for a long time. I think he easily could have gotten more money elsewhere in each of his last, opportunities at a new contract, but he always wanted to stay there, man. So, but yeah, I'm happy for Mike, man. Heck yeah, they paid Alec. Yes, they did. Yes, they did, man. That is a big, big contract for a receiver right there. That comes out to what, just under 30 million. I think that's like comes out to just over 29 mil a season for Alec Pierce. See the what's the guaranteed money on that bad boy? Yeah, there's just so much going on. But so another thing for the Colts, uh, they 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 placed a transition tag on Daniel Jones. The contract is fully guaranteed, and it'll be about 37.8 million for Daniel Jones. So it looks like Daniel is going to be coming back. Granted, he can still with the transition tag, he can still sign with another team, and the Colts will have the opportunity to match that. But I think for 37 million, coming off a torn ankle there, I don't think anybody's going to sign Daniel Jones for that much. So I think he'll be staying with the Colts. David Stegosaurus, Alec who? Alec Pierce, my man. I know. He's probably not the most well-known receiver, but he's a big body dude, man. Big, big, huge receiver, very fast. I think he's out of Cincinnati. I'm pretty sure. Not the Bengals, but the college. Yep, there you go. Cincinnati Bearcats in 2022. Devin Bush with the Bears. Yep. Yeah, the Bears have been active as well, man. They got some decent signings here. Let me bring those guys up as well. Yeah, once again, I'm gonna be jumping around, man, because there is just I could go from one division to the other, but at this point, there's just so much going on. So yeah, they signed Devin Bush, 3 years, 30 million. I think that's pretty solid. 10 million a year for a potential starting linebacker there with some decent athleticism. They signed former Seattle Seahawk Kobe Bryant, Kobe with a C, not with a K. 3 years, $40 million there. So that's a decent signing there. None of the corners, Kobe is actually a safety. My bad. But none of the secondary players that have been traded or signed, nobody really has massive numbers in terms of picking the ball off. This is more of like a scheme fit coverage kind of season. It looks like, or at least free agency. So, David, I hope Alec Pierce pierces the Vikings defense this upcoming season and scores 4 touchdowns. There we go. There you go. Look at that, man. Look at that. Alec Pierce getting a big contract and David Stegosaurus championing his a big game. Let's go. I agree with you. Let's why just 4? Let's make it an even 5 touchdowns in that game. Let me see here. Travis Etienne, man, he is going to the New Orleans Saints, man. Travis grew up and is from the New Orleans area, so a little bit of a homecoming for him. But yeah, Etienne leaving his college teammate Trevor Lawrence over there in Jacksonville. They came in. I can't remember. I think they came in the same draft. Yeah, I think Lawrence was obviously drafted in the first round, first overall pick, and then Etienne was drafted in the second round, both out of Clemson there. So, but yeah, man, the Max Crosby trade was wild, man. Of course, when it happened, I was at work, so I did not get a chance to post anything at all, not even like a little, nothing. Didn't have anything, couldn't do it. And then by the time I got home, it was so late. I was just like, I'm just gonna go to bed. But yeah, man. Okay, 5 versus Minnesota. Make sure he only gets 5 yards versus the Chiefs, though. That's fair. I think it's a good trade off. 5 touchdowns for a 5-yard game. I think to be honest with you, I think Alec Pierce would take that. He's like, dude, I'm getting 5 touchdowns in one game. All right, I'll take it. Eben, what's going on? It's 66 degrees outside. I could not be happier. Yeah, man. In Wisconsin, it's nice today, man. Yeah, what's the temp over here where I'm at? Oh, basically the same thing, man. Heck yeah. Yeah, the Midwest has been getting some love from the weather, man. It's been like 50, 60 degrees like for the last week. But even, man, have you been paying attention to free agency? Anything surprising to you? Anything that kind of popped out to you? Let me know, man. Also, welcome. But Chris, what do you think, man? What do you think of Miami's free agency so far? Is there any position that you want them to really attack? Let me see here. Seahawks re-signing Rashid Shaheed, 3 years, 51. Ooh, that is a big contract there. Holy cow. Yep. There it is. Seahawks re-signing Shaheed. Holy cow, man. That is a lot of cashish. $17 million, man. Looks like it's going to be 34 million guaranteed. The Seahawks also got to re-sign Josh Joby, one of their their corners there in that secondary. Yeah, man. The Seahawks, they needed to spend some money. They had a lot of cap space, so they needed to resign, but they were not going to be able to sign everybody. They lost Kobe Bryant, obviously, to the Chicago Bears there, and then Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP, losing them to Kansas City. No, I mean Montgomery was a free agent, but as long as my Lions keep growing, I'm happy. There you go. It's a good. That's a healthy outlook, my man. That's definitely a healthy outlook. I like it. Oh yeah, completely almost forgot to talk about this man right here. Yes, this man was released earlier today, early in the morning. The Miami Dolphins finally decided to move on from Tua Tagovailoa. That is a $99 million dead cap hit that the Dolphins will be holding on to for the next season or two. Um, so yeah, that is the most dead cap ever, basically ever in NFL history. That's more than what the Broncos had to deal with when they cut um, Russell Wilson a couple of years ago. So yeah, man, nearly $100 million, and the Dolphins were like, "Yeah, we're going to be moving on." And almost within, I think, 5 hours, there was rumblings of Tua signing with somebody else, and it ended up happening just I think, an hour ago. Tua signing a 1-year contract with the Atlanta Falcons, man. Out is Kirk Cousins. In is Tua Tagovailoa, and that is now going to be two left-handed quarterbacks playing in Atlanta. So Michael Penix, and Tua now. We'll see which one is going to be starting this year. So yeah, man, it's gonna be an interesting battle there, man. Michael Penix still dealing with that injury that he sustained late in the season. There's kind of they're not 100% sure whether he'll be ready for the start of the year. So I think this is part of it. But I'm assuming the contract is not going to be that massive. It's a 1-year deal. There hasn't been any word exactly of what it is. So yeah, man, that's another one. Woo! I hope the Lions go 4-13 next year, same as the Vikings and the Bears. Go Pack, go back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes. Dude, the Raiders are just whoo. I mean, I think, like, just off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure the Raiders have spent, in terms of full contracts, not just guaranteed money, in terms of like all the money, I'm pretty sure they're closing in on like 250 right now, man. So they signed Tyler Lindenbaum to the richest contract by an interior offensive lineman. It was a 3-year, $81 million contract, 60 million of that guaranteed. They signed Jalen Naylor from the Vikings, so solid number two, number three receiver there. 30. It was a 35-year, sorry, 3-year, $35 million contract for Naylor, and they just signed Nakobe Dean, Quiddy Pay from the Colts, and also Quay Walker, another Packer player, moving on, going somewhere else, man. I like the Falcons logo into his hands and that graphic move our football over the one in his hands. Oh yeah, I do actually. Oh man, that should. See, David, that's why me and you, man. I should have thought of that, man. But that's you got me. You got me, man. Let me see here. Where's the boom boom boom? Should we put it right here? Let me see. Eben, I don't think we will be in the playoffs next year, but I don't think we'll be 4-13. Okay, okay. I don't think you'll be in that bad either. Even it was just wishful, just busting. That's hilarious. To your earlier question, thinking the Dolphins need to target pass rusher or receiver during that's I like that. Yeah, especially pass rusher. I think there's still at least another two guys that you guys can definitely get because you guys. I feel like you guys have some decent money still left. No, he will get off. Jesus, kicking him one is down, man. That's hilarious. Terrible, but hilarious. Yeah, man. Quay Walker. What did he sign? Okay, so Quay signed at least right now it is a 3-year, $40 million contract with the Raiders, which include 28 million guaranteed. Okay, so yeah, that is just a little over $13 million per average. Someone says concussion, POV to I feel a disturbance in the force. Hey man, that's a that's hilarious. Lennon needs to find a viable third quarterback option, though. In all seriousness, Penny are too frail. I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons draft somebody. I don't think it'll be obviously in the first 3 rounds, but I think if there's a decent quarterback with some experience, college experience, I could see them drafting somebody in the 4th or 5th round. Head injuries are tough, 100%. Yep, 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 yep. No, and I think it was time for Tua to leave Miami. I think for both parties, I think that it was just starting to get weird the last like year or two. Um, like the talks of like Tua maybe not being a great leader, which I don't think is true. I think anywhere he's gone, he seems to be well respected. But I think it was more of his inability to consistently one stay on the field at times, but also just the level of play has just gone way down. So, and you fire your coaching staff, you let go of a lot of players. You're basically rebuilding. There's no need to keep a guy that's making over 120 million a year at the sorry not 120 million a year, but basically like $50 million a year at the quarterback position. It's like let's just move on. Everybody gets a clean slate and can move on. It's a good offense to land on 100%. Yeah, I think the there's not going to be a whole ton of pressure for Tua to start. Obviously, Penix is still there. The Falcons, I think, are still slightly committed to Penix, but I think this move does show that they're basically telling him like, "Hey, you're still a young kid, but we're not just going to wait for you to figure it out." So, so yeah, I think the Falcons are doing this to push either of these guys. Either they're one of them is going to be able to jump above the other guy and going to be consistent, hopefully a top 10 quarterback, or they're both just going to fail and they can probably move on after this year from both of them. This is the first administration where the Dolphins ownership isn't forcing Tua on newly appointed leadership. There we go. Excited to see how that will influence the rest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And on top of that, too, like the contract that Malik Willis signed, it's not insane. It was basically a 22-year, $22 million per year contract, which is not bad for a starting quarterback, and with the potential to be a decent starting quarterback on top of that. Um, And from the looks of the contract, once again, I think they still some more details need to still come out from that contract. But from the looks of it, it looks like it. If after one season Malik is not the guy, they can basically cut him for with very little left over. I think 45 of that was guaranteed, so not too bad. But yeah, it's I'm happy for Tua, man. I'm happy that he's gonna get a little bit of a restart with another franchise. But yeah, dude, holy cow, man, the signings are just non-stop right now. Holy freaking cow! All right, let me refresh this here. Zacchaeus actually signed with the Falcons, man. I like that for Atlanta. If you've seen any of the reactions, the live reactions, man, you know how much of a fan I am of Zacchaeus. I think he's an underrated slot receiver. He was really good in Washington. He was really solid with the Chicago Bears, and with I think it was Darnell Mooney who was let go by the Falcons. I think Zacchaeus is going to be slotting in there as their number one slot guy and probably going to do some decent numbers. They also picked up Jahan Dotson, another former Washington Commander, signing him to a 2-year, $17 million contract. So, who else? Atlanta signed Austin Hooper, who I'm pretty sure Austin Hooper started his career over there in Atlanta. He's been bouncing around the league for a while. Yeah, third round pick back in 2016 for the Atlanta Falcons. Bounced around with the Browns, the Titans, the Raiders, and then the Patriots for the last 2 years. And now he is back with the Atlanta Falcons, where he was a two-time Pro Bowler back in 2018 and 2019. Basically, his last 2 seasons in the ATL there. Dotson, we got Dotson. See, no one cares. No one cares. David, I'm pretty sure that tampering happened before today, given the number of updates that came through today, almost as if illegal tampering still happens. 100%, man, 100%. I think the NFL has kind of realized that they, unless there's something like truly like egregious, where like we're talking about like a team, like the team season is still there, like the season is still going on, and other teams are talking to players. I think that's what they're really focused on now. After this, once the season ends, I think the NFL is just like whatever. Dolphins sent Micah Dude, Fitzpatrick is just wasn't he just traded to the back to the Dolphins from the Steelers this past year? To the Jets for a 7th round pick. Kind of bummed. Me too, man. I was like, dude, that was great. I was like, after he got, so he started his career with Miami, got traded to the Steelers, which kind of made sense. I get it. And then they traded him back to Miami, and I was like, oh, perfect. He might get a chance to finish his career where it started. And the Dolphins are like, nah, throwing him to the dumpster fire of the NFL over there. Sorry, Jets fans. Sorry. Till proven otherwise, you come on. Minka, come back to Florida. There's more babes and bikinis here, Chris. I mean, is Chris wrong though? Just saying. All right, let's see here. Yeah, so the Buffalo Bills, they are signing Connor McGovern and Dee Alford there. Holy cow. I think Dee Alford is actually a pretty decent pickup, man, for that secondary. Wasn't McGovern already a Bill? Or am I crazy? Oh, okay, okay. He was a Cowboy. Never mind. Yeah, so they signed guard Connor McGovern to a 4-year, $52 million contract. All right, I like what the Bills are. I like what the Bills are doing. I think McGovern is a solid guard, man. It's gonna shore up some of that interior there where they were struggling to run the ball at times when, especially late in the season, and on top of that, being able to keep Josh Allen upright is a big one. So. David is reading my mind out here. He did it. He did that with me too, man. David, do you have a camera on me, man? I'll find it, man. I'll find it. Let me see here. Yeah, the Chicago Bears, man, they're hitting that defense hard in free agency. They signed DeMarco Jackson, 2 years, $7.5 million. Defensive tackle Neville Gilliamore, 2-year, $12 million. We talked about Kobe Bryant, and then also Devin Bush. Yeah, and that Chicago defense, man, they give up a lot of yards. They had great turnovers, man, but they give up a ton of yardage, man, and they're obviously trying to shore up as much of that defense as they possibly can. Dave, get it right. Dumpster Fire East equals the Jets. Dumpster Fire Central equals. My apologies. My apologies. I'm pretty sure when I said just dumpster fire, the Browns were like, the Jets were like doing that Spider-Man meme. They're like, me, him, you, him, me, him. So my apologies. I meant the dumpster fire of the East. Do not want to disrespect the kings of the dumpster fire Central, the Cleveland Browns. And for the Cowboys, man, they franchise tagged, non-exclusive franchise tagged George Pickens. They signed safety Jalen Thompson. I think Thompson is from the Cardinals. Yes, there we go. Yeah, they signed him to a 3-year, $36 million contract, which is not bad. Definitely overpaying, but I would have to see how much of it is guaranteed. But Thompson, he's a decent playmaker on the ball, man. And of course, I almost didn't mention it. Not too surprising that he is no longer a Packer, but Rashawn Gary is a Dallas Cowboy, man. The Dallas Cowboys, man, between Kenny Clark and all the other former Packers that they have on that team, it's becoming the Green Bay Cowboys at this point. Jesus. Yeah, the Cowboys giving up a 4th-round pick in 2027 to pick up Rashawn Gary. And looks like the Cowboys took all of the contract. The Packers were only they're only in charge of whatever they needed to keep by league standards. So yeah, man, the Cowboys did not have to do that, but apparently Jerry Jones was feeling generous. So Chris, Titans have been pretty active to 100%, man. They also had a bunch of cap space. So I'm not too surprised about that. Where are they here? Come on. There's just so much going on. I can't even find the Titans right now. There we go. Bam. Yeah, so the Titans signing Garrett Dillinger. I think that was one of their own guys there for a bit. Mitchell Trubisky, nice little contract there for Mitchell, and that will be a good backup for Tennessee. They signed the former Giant Daniel Bellinger, the tight end, 3-year, $24 million. Signed another Giant there, Wan'Dale Robinson, 4 years, $78 million. Holy freaking cow! That is an insane contract. It's not surprising because the offensive coordinator is Brian Daboll over there in Tennessee now. which is not surprising because he is also bald. Well, we do know that the Titans signed all the bald former head coaches and coordinators in the NFL this year. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they even signed a couple guys that were just walking down the street, uh, bald head shining in the wind. They're like, "Hey, you play football?" And he's like, "I play Madden." He's like, "That's good enough. Get in here. You're our new special teams coordinator. Come on." They signed Jonathan Franklin Myers, defensive tackle, 3 years, $63 million. Holy freaking cow! Yeah, former Jet. Not too surprised there. Cordero Floats, corner, 3 year, $45 million, 32 of it guaranteed, and then on top of that, Alontae Taylor signing a 3 year, $60 million, 42 of that guaranteed. So between those two corners, that is $105 million, 74 of it guaranteed between just those two corners. Man, the Titans are not messing around with that secondary. Chris, it's on the list of requirements. First question: are you bald? No. Goes down. Why? Let me see here. The Commanders are pretty active, but it looks like most of them have been just signing their own guys. Offensive guard Nick Algieri signed a two-year extension. Andrew Wiley, offensive lineman, 2 year contract. Laramie Tunsil, who many people thought they were going to trade him away, signed a 2 year, $60 million contract. Their punter Tress Way was extended. Traylon Burks was extended, which is not surprising, man. He had a really, really solid final 2 months over there with the Commanders, man. He looked really solid. Yeah, Traylon Burks, man. Kind of, I don't want to say he resurrected his career there, but it looked really solid, man. It looks like he was coming back to where he was early in his career. Jake Moody extended over there with the Commanders, man. He bounced around the NFL for a couple of years after being uh, let go from the 49ers. Amik Roberts, former Detroit Lions, signing a 2 year, $16 million contract. Not going to lie, I was hoping the Packers would sign him, but Marcus Mariota re-signing with the Commanders on a 1 year, $7 million contract. Yeah, dude, holy cow. Tampa Bay. Oh yeah, dude. I wanted to mention Tampa Bay, man. Tampa Bay. I've been looking at their history in terms of free agency. Dude, they know how to get bargains, man. Great bargain buyers. They re-signed Cade Otton. They got Kenneth Gainwell, who had over 1,000 total yards for the Steelers last year. Signed him to a 2 year, $14 million contract. So Kenneth Gainwell, really good running back, really, really good at catching the ball out of the backfield and making plays. Um, to be able to get him for $7 million a year, it's a solid pickup there. And then they also picked up former Detroit Lion Alex Anzalone, the linebacker, for 2 for $17 million. So right there, immediately Alex either becomes a really solid backup, like truly one of the better backups in the NFL at that position, or a really solid starter. Good in coverage, plays with his hair on fire. And on top of that, he looks like Fabio, which I know doesn't really help with football, but I mean, if you're going to sign a long-haired linebacker, why not look like Fabio while you do it? You know, as you're getting tackled, you're like, gosh, man, that handsome son of a. That's all I'm saying, man. It's all about the hair, man. Looking like White Goodman out there. Let me see here. Steelers, obviously, they traded for Michael Pittman. Also gave him a new contract, 3 years, $59 million. They picked up Jamel Dean. That was a big, big pickup there for them. I'm not really sure how I like it. I don't think Jamel is going to be their outside corner. He's too small for that, but he's a really good slot corner, man. 3 years, 36 mil. Pretty good. Anybody else that I'm missing, guys? Let me know. Let me know. Yeah, so with Rashawn, man, he finished. I'll just talk with about Rashawn while you guys kind of type in here. But yeah, with Gary, man, it was not surprising he was going to get cut, regardless. At least the Packers got something of out of that. Fourth round pick in next year's draft. Not super great, but it's something. We've been able to find some decent players in that round that can contribute. But yeah, man, it was a little disappointing, man. Especially the last year and a half with Rashawn after he signed that contract. He did have a decent year coming back from that torn ACL. Signed the contract that same year he came back. Had 9 sacks that year, and I think the Packers were like, "Hey, one more year removed, those numbers should be creeping up towards the double digits." The next year after that, so in 2024, finished with only 7.5 sacks. A little bit of a down year, and then when they traded for Micah, for the first, I would say, like month and a half, man, Rashawn was on pace for just completely obliterating his career high, which was 9.5 sacks. And he was on pace, I think, for somewhere around 18 sacks, which would have been great. But unfortunately, even before Micah went down, Rashawn just kind of just stopped producing. Man, it just went nowhere. So yeah, I think the Packers were just like, you know what? And I think this shows you a lot. Usually, the Packers are one that give their guys one more year, just one more year to, especially when they're young. But I think this really just shows how much the Packers don't see Gary improving, actually going back to what he was before the knee injury. So yeah, disappointing, disappointing. So talking about Jalen Phillips here, there's a guy that I have yet to talk about. So he was traded to the from the Dolphins to the Eagles last year, and he, for at least a month, almost completely revamped the Eagles pass rush. Man, before that, the Eagles were struggling. Man, they could not get anything going. They tried Darius Smith, did not work. He ended up retiring mid-season on them, and everything they threw at it was just not working. And they picked this guy up, and immediately became arguably the best pass rusher. Not arguably, actually was the best pass rusher the Eagles had. And then it kind of trailed off a little bit towards the end. I think as teams adjusted, they started throwing more double, triple teams his way, and unfortunately for the Eagles, man, nobody else on the other side was really able to kind of be the Robin to Phillips' Batman. And then on top of that, the Eagles have so much money kind of locked up with Saquon, with their offense, even a bunch of guys on their defense. They signed Jordan Davis to an extension, and they were just not going to be able to re-sign this guy and afford him. So instead, he goes to Carolina on a massive contract, 4 years, $120 million, man. Massive, massive contract. Yeah, and it'll be interesting what he does. I think the the Panthers needed a pass rusher. They haven't had a great one since Brian Burns left, and we're gonna see if Jalen Phillips can continue that massive that great start that he had with Philly, and we'll see if he can kind of bring some of that pass rushing, some of that intensity to that Carolina defense that was solid in coverage, solid in everything else, but just lacked the ability to get to the quarterback and make big plays. All right. Oh, the Buffalo Bills have signed another quarterback with the last name Allen, man. Kyle Allen heading to the Buffalo Bills on a 2-year, $4.1 million contract. Yeah, dude, Kyle Allen has just been around the NFL. He's like the new Ryan Fitzpatrick, just with a lower ceiling at this point. Gardner Minshew, man, heading over to the Arizona Cardinals, man, signing a 1-year, $8 million contract. He'll be backing up Jacoby Brissett. Ooh, I like this one. Uh, Reed Blankenship, the safety from Philly, is going to Houston on a 3-year, $24 million contract. That is a solid, that's good value, man. Blankenship is a guy that is always around the ball, always making plays, um, is is willing to literally just throw his head into a tackle to make a play on the ball, man. So Reed Blankenship go into one of the best defenses in the NFL, only making that secondary even better. That's a good signing, man, especially for 3 years, 24 mil. It's about $8 million a year. That's pretty good. Eagles traded a third round pick for. They just got a third back and compensatory. There you go, man. Yeah, dude, those compensatory picks, man, they can add up, man. And as a Packer, I mean, especially during the Ted Thompson era, it was not uncommon for the Packers to have two or three of those kinds of picks. The only bad thing is that during that time, it was only recently that you were allowed to trade them away. Yeah, I think it was up until 2019, maybe 2020. You couldn't trade them away. You needed to keep them, so you couldn't really move up. So yeah, I mean, I guess yeah. I mean, for the Eagles, I still think that they. It's tough to say that they did not get their money's worth out of it because they're gonna get a third round pick. It won't be until next year, um, but yeah, man, Jalen Phillips, man, he was a freaking monster for them. Like, look at especially against the Packers, man. During that Packers game, Phillips absolutely just wrecked whatever the Packers were trying to do on that right side. So, Chris, what do you think? Did you like when they traded away Phillips for that third round pick? Uh oh. Joe Cordana, the long snapper for the New England Patriots, is going to the Rams. And the only reason I brought that up is because we don't get a whole lot of news on long snappers. They tend to just stay with the team forever. Like, it's not uncommon to see a long snapper spend over 10 years with the same team that either drafted him or picked him up. So yeah, to see a long snapper leave, it's like watching a franchise quarterback sign somewhere else. Doesn't happen too often. Signed a 2-year contract with the Rams. I was torn. I'm not gonna lie. I love JP. Yeah, man. He was really good for you guys, man. Cause I know he had that knee injury, right? And he was basically coming back from that injury when he got traded, right? David, as long as it's not a long snapping turtle, they always those things are mean are mean. Yes, they are, man. Yes, they are. But to be fair to them, we called them long snapping turtles, and they're just like, you know what? Fine. It's tough to change your identity once you got that name. Once somebody puts that name on you, man, you know. He came into the league injury prone, but was eating for us shortly after getting drafted. Things changed after the Achilles. Yep, there you go. Oh, hold on. I think I did. I think I did. Sorry, right there, right there. David, lower ceiling shouldn't be a problem for short people. Was that a joke on me, or how dare you? How dare you? As a representative of the of the short people of America, how dare you, sir? How dare you? The lollipop. Anyway, dude, holy cow! Look at the. So I'm trying to do the math here for the Raiders. Lindenbaum, 81 million. Quay Walker, 40 million. Nakobe Dean, 36 million. Jalen Naylor, 35 million. Quiddy Pay, 48 million. Eric Stokes, another former Packer. He was there last year. He signed a 1 year, I think it was like a $5 million contract with them. But he re-signed a 3 year, $30 million contract with the Raiders. Malcolm Kuntz, 1 year, 11 million, and then on top of that, the Raiders traded for Taron Johnson. Holy cow, that is a lot of money right there, man. I'm trying. Yeah, so far, just with those contracts alone, the ones I listed, the Raiders have spent over $270 million in total contracts. Yeah. Um, Needless to say, Mendoza is definitely going to have a very expensive team that he's going to be leading the way in this coming year. And a player that has yet to re-sign, man, I'm a little bit surprised. Romeo Dobbs. The I think it was Rob Domofsky, a beat writer for the Packers. Basically, he came out earlier today saying that Romeo Dobbs is not going to be coming back to the Packers, which is not too surprising. I think the last couple of years with the Packers and Dobbs, it hasn't been bad. There isn't any like, any. It doesn't seem like there's any true bad blood. But I think Romeo was wanting to go somewhere else. I think he wants to be a true number one, or at the very least have the opportunity to be getting number one receiver looks, targets, looks, opportunities, things like that. And the Packers have just never been really that kind of team. I think the only time that we've seen them truly just go with a number one guy in the last like 20 years has been Devontae. Even when they had Jordy, they had Randall Cobb, they had Greg Jennings, they had Devontae Adams. There was always two or three guys in Green Bay that were kind of eating well. And Romeo, I think he wants to be the top of the chart, not only in terms of the depth chart, but also in terms of targets, in terms of yards, in terms of this or that. So, yeah, Dobbs to KC would be fun. KC, 100%. I could see that. The Patriots, they need a receiver. The Jets obviously need a receiver because who knows if they're going to keep Wilson there or if Wilson even wants to be there. And then on top of that, the Commanders, they've let it go. They let go a couple of guys at this point. But yeah, man, I would not be surprised if Romeo Dobbs. I mean, we've seen Kansas City sign former Green Bay Packer receivers before. They had MVS for 2 seasons. As long as he's not the top of the yeah, and that might be the only reason that he does not come to KC. Because I think wherever he goes, he wants to be that number one guy. I think that was his biggest gripe. Because I think there's a story. I don't know if it was this year or last year, but he was complaining about not getting enough looks for how productive he was, and there was a case there. But he also had some pretty bad games with some really bad drops. Like there was usually like 2 or 3 games where Romeo would have at least 2 or 3 drops that he should definitely have had. But Kenny Pickett, man, signing with Carolina, 1 year, $7 million, $7.5 million, $4 million is guaranteed. So a nice little move there by Kenny Pickett, moving on from the Raiders. Yeah, the Packers have been really quiet. They have not signed really anybody. Oh yeah, they let go of Elton Jenkins, clearing up about nearly $20 million. See, Chris, Rico Dowdle to the Steelers. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Rico is he's one Uncle Rico. Uncle Rico, one of my favorite players in the NFL, man. Wasn't as productive as I thought he was going to be with Carolina. He had 3 great games, man. Incredible games. His first 2 starts with the Panthers after Chuba Hubbard got hurt, incredible, man. And then he also had a really good game against Green Bay, unfortunately. But after that, man, it was kind of a little bit of a struggle for Rico to find room to run. Uncle Rico! let's see here. Rico is. What's that contract looking like? Okay, so no news yet on the contract, but likely not going to be super crazy. Like even his contract, his 1 year contract with the Panthers was not insane. I think he got like around 5 or 6 million for that year. And once again, with the potential that he has, man, he is a big back, a kind of a one cut guy, man. Like makes a one cut and just goes. Um, Long stride, very violent runner, always falls forward. So I like that for the Steelers, man. They need a guy like that, in my opinion. Especially if you pair him up with the running back that they already have there, man. Could be a solid 1-2. Yeah, so let me see here. So Mike Evans signing a there you go. It's a 3 year, $60 million contract for Mike Evans with the 49ers, man. Though that's the official number for the Buccaneer legend. And they needed somebody because they're losing Jawan Jennings, Brian Robinson, who's a running back. Actually, sorry, I thought that was the other Robinson, the receiver. But they're also losing Sky Moore, who really didn't make much of an impact with them. To be honest with you, he was more of a special teams guy. But but with the injuries that the 49ers have had, they it would not have been. I mean, to have a guy like Mike Evans, even if he only plays like even if he only gives you 12 games, they're gonna be solid. How dare you do a poop joke, sir? This channel is classy. This channel is about maturity. How dare you, sir? How dare you? I had a solid one. No, I'm not gonna. Never mind. I'm not gonna do that joke. Never mind. Don't drag me down to your level, David. How dare you? You almost had me. A former Baltimore Raven, Adarius Washington, the safety, is going to the Giants, man. So gonna play with for his former head coach there. Big Washington, special teams guy, mostly. Falcons have just signed Christian Harris, the linebacker. So taking a little bit of that Texans defense, man. And Harris was solid, really solid for them last year. Oh, come on, where are you? There we go. Still a young player too, man. 25 years old. So yeah, back in 2023, he racked up over 100 tackles, 2 sacks. Last couple of years, he's been more of a backup special teams kind of guy, but he's been solid on special teams. Feels like the Falcons are trying to shore up the bottom half of that that roster, man. Yeah, looks like things are starting to slow down just a little bit after a wild freaking start, man. I was hoping Linderbaum would be one of the Packers' targets, but yeah, after seeing that contract, there was no chance that Green Bay would have been able to pick him up, man. Dre Greenlaw, the former Bronco there, he's being released after signing a 3-year, $31 million contract. So, yeah, did not end up doing well over there in with the Broncos. Just really couldn't make much of an impact, man. It was a struggle for Greenlaw to kind of be on the field. What did he finish with? 15 tackles, 1 sack, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble. It's a far cry from paying a guy basically $10 million a year. Plus, the Broncos have a bunch of pass rushers, man. They are deep at that position, linebacker. Noah Fant signing with the Saints. That's gonna be a really good target there for Shuck. Big bodied, tight end, athletic. Can be inconsistent at times, but it's gonna be able to, you know, give you a big target there, man. And that's what especially a young quarterback. That's what you need. And the Saints just need to be able to put out a solid offense. Doesn't need to be world beating. They can build onto that, but if they can surround that guy with some good veterans, there's a chance that they might be able to develop that guy into a decent quarterback. Just trying to see here if there's anything that I'm gonna miss before I head out of here. We talked about Shaheed. We talked about Evans. We talked about the Raiders' freaking shopping spree here. Yeah, once again, man, the Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs, man, that's still one of the bigger surprises for me. Like I knew the Seahawks were not gonna they weren't gonna back up the Brinks truck to get Walker, man. He had been injury prone, inconsistent throughout his career there. But when he plays well, I mean, you saw what he did in the playoffs, man. Was one of the more dominant, if not the most dominant, running back in the playoffs. And but yeah, man, I guess the Seahawks they got Charbonnet. I think Hulani, who ended up being the number 2 after Charbonnet went down with the injury there in the divisional round. I think Hulani. I think they really like what they saw out of him. He played really well, and on top of that, Kenneth Walker and Hulani, they basically split during that Super Bowl run, or that Super Bowl game. I think it was like 55-45 Kenneth Walker, basically. It was almost 50-50 split. And we saw what Kenneth Walker, he's a limited guy, man. He dropped, 2 passes or 1 pass in the championship round, and then he dropped 1 in the Super Bowl as well. So he's never been known as he's never been known as like a true full-rounded running back. He's a good runner, violent runner. I kind of compared his running style to a more like controlled Isaiah Pacheco, but he doesn't really catch the ball out of the backfield a whole lot, man. He's not really a dual threat, and I think that's for the Seahawks. I think they were putting a cap on how much they were willing to pay him. But yeah, but even for this much, I was surprised. So yeah, good on the Chiefs, man. They needed a running back. They needed somebody else. Isaiah Pacheco, the last couple of years, his numbers have gone way, way down. He's been dealing with injuries. Whether it's his running style or whatever it is, it's just not producing to the same level as it was early in his career. And Kareem Hunt at this point is a short yardage kind of backup running back there. So, yeah. Yeah, Malik Willis. I was expecting him to go to the Cardinals, to be honest with you. I thought Mike LaFleur, that offense, the system, I thought that was going to be attracting him more, but apparently the Cardinals are going to ride with Jacoby Brissett. They were very satisfied with what they saw. So instead, he goes to Miami, replaces Tua there, and is going to be playing for his former defensive coordinator in Green Bay, Jeff Hafley. They're the new head coach for Miami. So, yeah, yeah, a lot of former Packers, or I should say, former Packers, definitely not coming back. Quay Walker, Malik Willis, yeah, just a lot of guys in Green Bay. A lot of people that the Packers are gonna have to replace at some point here, through the draft, through free agency, whatever it is. The Packers, they're gonna need to do some work in the next couple days and the next couple months to replace some of these starters, man. All right, guys. Before I head out, anything that I missed? Anything you wanted me to touch on, talk about? It doesn't have to be football related. It could be anything. Let me know. Let me know. But yeah, man, a wild first day. Do you think Green Bay goes draft for backup quarterback? I still think that I think there's some good backups still left around. I would not be surprised if the Packers sign a veteran and still draft somebody. I think they like doing that. They like to kind of have options. But I would be surprised if they don't. What do the Packers have in terms of draft capital? They don't have a whole lot of early picks because of the Micah Parsons trade there. But I know they picked up a few late round picks. So the Packers hold 7 picks, including 1 in each of the second and sixth rounds, and 2 in the seventh. 2 in the seventh. So yeah, I would be. I think they're gonna draft someone in the 5th to 7th round, in terms of quarterback. The Packers like to develop backup quarterbacks, and they like to kind of flip them in the future for some draft picks. We've seen that with Tyler Huntley. Granted, Malik Willis was not traded, but they're going to get a decent comp pick for him, probably somewhere between a 6th to a 4th, potentially. There was another guy that they traded a couple years ago, but yeah. So I think they're going to go veteran because there's plenty of them out there right now. They just don't want to overpay. And then I think they're going to go in the draft to pick up a backup. David, thanks for the stream, Dave. Time to walk the dog. Hey, right on, my man. Have fun with the doggo. Hopefully it's a good walk. Hopefully the weather is nice down there for you. But yeah, man. Absolutely, guys. Yeah, once again, I thought it was going to be a slow Monday. NFL said nah. So I had to get on. Had to talk about some free agency. So unless there's anything crazy happens, Green Bay or a massive trade, I will see you guys on Friday. So once again, if there's a massive trade, I will try to get on live to talk about it as soon as possible. But otherwise, I will see you guys on Friday around 7 p.m. So before the weekend. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for showing up. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to David. Shout out to your loco Eben popping in here as well. I appreciate you guys coming in on a short notice on a Monday Thank you so much, man. Have a great week, and I will catch you guys in a little bit. Once again, my name is Dave, and I'm